Let's start the session. As I told you that I just waited for the students to join. These are the demo sessions, right? That is the reason, but please try to join early. But regular classes, when the link changed, classes will be on time, 9 o'clock. I will not wait for you. Okay. If two students joined, I will start the session. Okay. If you are attending the class on time, so that we can also finish the classes on time, right? So in last session, I gave introduction, and today this is about features of Linux. Why Linux? The features I'll explain in today's session. So why people are switching to Linux? Why technologies are coming with Linux operating system? Okay, why organizations are moving to Linux? Means there are some features. Advantages are there in Linux. So what are the features we have? So first is open source. Open source means source code we get along with the operating system. Operating system is open to everyone. We can download and we can install. No need to pay for anyone for license key. This is open to everyone. I'm repeating, Linux is open source. Software we get along, software is free to everyone. We can download and install directly. And source code we get with right permission. So if you want to modify anything, you can modify the source code also. If you want to do any changes, you can do the changes. But for that, you must know C++ 100%. Okay, so that is the first feature. I'm repeating again. First feature is open source. Source code we get along with the operating system. Operating system is free to everyone. And we can do multiple tasking. Multitasking is available in Linux operating system. Multiple applications we can run at a time. Even this feature is there in most of the operating systems. Even in Windows also we have that option. So here also we have the same option. Multitasking is available. And next one is multi-user. Multi-user. Oh, so what is this multi-user means? See, we have types in operating systems. Single user, single task operating system. Single user, multitask operating system. And multi-user, multitask operating system. There are three types of operating systems. Single user, single task, single user, multitask, and multi-user, multitask. Single user, single task means only one user can log in and that user can perform only one task. They can perform only one task at a time. If they open one application, in the same time they want to open another application, they cannot open. Only one task they can perform at a time. Example for single user, single task is Windows. Sorry. Single user, single task example is DOS, disk operating system. This is the first operating system. In this operating system, only one user can log in and that user can perform only one task. And second is single user multitask. Here also, only one user can log in at a time. How many users list it is displaying? Still only you can log in into one user, but that user can perform multiple tasks. At a time, you can open multiple applications. You can watch movie, you can listen songs, you can work with different applications. Okay, but only one user at a time. If you want to log in into another user, means first we log out from one user, then we log in into one user. Example is Windows. And next one is multi-user multitasking. Here, multiple users can log in and they can perform multiple tasks. 40,000 users can log in at a time. That is possible here. And every user can perform multiple tasks that I will show practically also. And example for this is Linux. So this is also feature of Linux, multi-user multitasking. Multiple users can log in and every user can perform multiple tasks. So that is the advantage of Linux, multi-user multitasking. I'm repeating. First is open source. Source code we get along with the operating system. Operating system is free to everyone. And we can modify the you can modify the source code also as per your requirement. And multiple tasks you can perform at a time. And multiple users also can log in at a time. Multi-user multitasking. Portability means can be installed on all hardware architecture. We don't require any specific hardware environment. It works with any hardware architecture. Okay. Some operating systems like AIX server, it requires only IBM components. Where you have IBM components, there only you can use AIX server. Like that, there are some operating system which works in specific hardware environment. But Linux works with any hardware environment. Even Windows also works with any hardware environment. And in Linux, with least hardware environment also. Means if you have 512 MB RAM or 10 GB hard disk also you can install Linux operating system. So portability can be installed on all hardware architecture. That is also advantage of Linux. Is this points are clear? Open source, multitasking, multi-user and portability. These points are clear to everyone. Can someone respond?
Yes, ma'am.
Points are clear? See, remember, any point is not clear, theoretically or practically, something is not clear, you can ask me. I will repeat. Okay. Tanuja, clear the points which I explained?
Yes, ma'am.
Fanindranath,
Yeah, it is audible.
Rajesh,
Yes, it's clear.
Rajan, Hirmit. Please give confirmation. If you can't speak, you can message me on the chat box also. Okay. So first, open source code we get along with the operating system. Multiple users can log in and they can perform multiple tasks and can be installed in any hardware architecture. And next one is scalability. Scalability means same operating system can be used on normal desktop PC to supercomputer. Operating system is one here. We don't have separate operating systems like server operating system, client operating system. Generally, practical purpose, what operating system you are using in your laptop or desktop, the same operating system in server also we use in real time. No difference. Operating system is same. So that is also advantage here. And reliability. We can trust it because many servers are running without downtime from many years. Okay, large servers are running mainframes also running without any downtime, supercomputers, everything. So it doesn't require restart. See, generally, if you do any changes in your operating system, if you install any applications, if you uninstall something, if you update something, if you create partitions, whatever we do in Windows, it will ask you to update the system. Even if you are using your laptop, you will get sometimes messages. So updates are available. You'll get the message. Either you need to restart or shut down the computer after update. Right. So, like in Windows, we need updates. Once everything is updated, it asks us to restart the computer, even the server. See, Microsoft people will send weekly patches to organizations. Like every Thursday or every Friday, something patches they will send, means updates they will send. Once they updated servers, administrators will restart the computer. But before restarting the computer, they'll give the information to employees and clients like downtime for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes downtime. They'll give the downtime information to employees. Okay, then they'll restart the computer. Once it is restarted, so once it is on, again they'll run all the applications. For that, it will take time. That is the reason they'll give downtime. If you observe, when you are using any online transitions through Phone Pay or Google Pay, you'll get messages like server is down temporarily. Because when the main servers are running, you'll get the type of messages. But that problem is not there in Linux machines. No downtime. Without restarting, without a single second downtime, we can update everything in Linux machines. How to update without downtime, that also I'll explain in further classes. I'll explain, I will show you practically. These are all the points what we are discussing as features of Linux. All the points. I will show practically in further classes also. Okay. So reliable because no downtime. And next one is secure. Linux is secure. Why Linux is secure means there are many reasons. Why Linux are secure means there are many reasons. So first I'll repeat previous points one more time. Open source. Source code we get along with the operating system. Operating system is free to everyone. And we get write permission. Document source code we get with write permission. So if you want to modify the operating system also, you can modify as per your requirement. And multiple users can log in and they can perform multiple tasks. And can be installed on any hardware architecture. We don't require any specific hardware environment. And operating system can be used on normal desktop PC to supercomputer. Operating system is same here. And no downtime, 24/7 it works. So we can trust Linux machines. And performance, comparing to Windows, Linux is fast. Performance wise also it is fast because two reasons are there. One is Linux works with command line interface. Commands means no need graphics. Black screen with white fonts. So it will not use more graphic. Processor work is like with graphic card. That is one reason. Another reason, there is a swap memory. Swap is a virtual memory which is used to increase the performance of physical RAM. What is this swap memory? How to create the swap memory? How to increase the performance of RAM? That I will show you practically. So there is an option to create swap memory, virtual memory, which is used to increase the performance of our RAM. So that is also one reason why Linux is faster comparing to Windows. So that is also feature of Linux. And there is a kernel in Linux. There is a kernel. It's like some small software, which is an interface between shell and hardware. Generally, when we are sending any data to our computer, first shell receives the data. What shell will do? It converts the original data into zeros and ones because system can understand only zeros and ones. So shell converts the original data into zeros and ones and it transfers to hardware environment in Windows machine. Okay, so when shell receives the data, shell function is only transferring the data into zeros and ones. It will not check what data we are giving, whether the data is supported by hardware environment or not, something virus is coming or not. It will not check for anything. Just it converts into zeros and ones. That's it. If something virus is coming also, it converts into zeros and ones and it transfers to hardware environment. Okay. But in Linux, when shell transfers the data to, when user generated any data, shell receives the data and shell converts the data into zeros and ones. Then here, kernel is there in Linux. What kernel do is, it checks the data before transferring the data to hardware environment. Kernel is an interface between shell and hardware. So before transferring the data to hardware environment, first kernel checks the data. If the data is supported by hardware environment, then it transfers the data to hardware. Otherwise, it resets back to shell. So that is the reason, that is one of the reason why Linux is secure. Okay, so there is a kernel. Before transferring the data to hardware environment, kernel checks the data. Then only transfers the data to hardware environments. So Linux is virus free, free from virus. If something virus is coming, shell converts into zeros and ones, that virus, and it transfers to kernel. Then what kernel do is, it checks, but virus is not required to hardware. So then what kernel do is, it resets back to shell. So Linux is virus free because of kernel. Hope you are getting the points, and please you can ask me if you are not getting any point. If you want, I will repeat, I will go slow, I will go with some more examples, but my students should be perfect in my classes because this is not at all difficult. Linux is interesting and important also for future. And next one is security. Linux is secure. There are many reasons why Linux is secure. Okay, first is inbuilt IP tables are there. IP tables is nothing but firewalls. In Windows, we call firewall. Here we call IP tables. Okay, if you want, we can enable and disable as per the requirement. Inbuilt IP tables are there. And SC Linux, Secured Enhanced Linux. IP tables are used to secure networking files. SC Linux is used to secure local files. So inbuilt IP tables and SC Linux is there. That is one reason why Linux is secure. Second, Linux is secure because it works with command line interface. So those who know commands, they only can access Linux machine. If you want to create a file, even if you want to check content of a file also, we need commands. So those who know commands, they only can access from your machine. So that is also reason why Linux is secure. If you want to install something, if you want to delete something, if you want to create something, for everything we need commands. So it is secure. Linux is secure because it doesn't support exe files. No next, finish, no auto runs. Many PCs are infecting with virus because of exe files only, but Linux doesn't support it. So that is also one reason why Linux is secure. Linux is secure because for every user, password authentication is compulsory. Without password, we cannot access any user account. In Windows, once a user is created, if you don't create password to that user, while login, if you click on the user account, it will allow you to log in into the user. But in Linux, it is not like that. Once a user is created, password authentication is compulsory. If there is no password, we cannot log in into the user account. That also I will show practically. Every point I will show practically. Okay. So that is also one reason why Linux is secure. Linux is secure because there is no setup files. Everything you will get as a configuration file. We need to configure manually. Manually, if you want to share something, if you want to share a folder, In Windows, what we do, right click on a folder. So there you can see sharing and security option. So from there you can share the folder. Just next, next, next. But in Linux, it is not like that. We open a file, they will write everything manually. Folder name, location, where it is, and to which location you want to share. Everything we write manually. Okay. So that only what you write manually, your system accepts that only. So Linux is secure because it works with configuration files. And Linux is secure because we can encrypt a file by assigning password. Linux is secure because we can encrypt a file by assigning password. Encryption means what? Converting the original data into secure format, which no one can understand. Say, for example, there is a file you created. Okay, something data is added. So if others are open the file, they can see the content clearly, right? Generally, if you open Notepad, you can see the content. Even others also see the content. Now, same thing coming to Linux. In Linux, you created a file, you added some important content into that file. Now, you encrypted that file by assigning password. How to encrypt a file by assigning password, I will show practically. So, you encrypted a file by assigning password. Once a file is encrypted by assigning password, if someone is trying to check content of your file, it will display the content in encrypted format, which no one can understand. If they try to open your file, it will ask for the password. If they know password, they can open your file. Otherwise, they cannot open the file. So we can encrypt a file by assigning password. And we can encrypt configuration files also. Servers also we can encrypt by assigning password. So no one can access without your permission. So this is also one reason why Linux is secure. Okay, I'm repeating why Linux is secure again. Linux is secure because inbuilt IP tables are there and SC Linux is there. IP tables are used to secure networking files and SC Linux is used to secure local files. Linux is secure because it works with command line interface. So those who know commands, they only can access something in your computer. Okay. Linux is secure because it doesn't support exe files. No next, next, next finish, no auto runs. And many PCs are infecting with virus because of exe files only, right? So it doesn't support that. Linux is secure because for every user, password authentication is compulsory. Without password, we cannot log in into any user account. Linux is secure. It doesn't support exe files. Everything we get as a configuration file. Linux is secure because we can encrypt a file by assigning password. Okay, once a file is encrypted by assigning password, without knowing the password, they cannot access the content. If they try to check the content, it displays the content in encrypted format, which no one can understand. If they try to open the file, it will ask for the password. See, all the points what I gave as features of Linux, all these points I will show in further classes practically also. Just theory I'm giving now. Why Linux? You're coming to Linux class, right? So if someone asks you why Linux, why people are switching to Linux, why technologies are coming with Linux, so there are some reasons, features. So that features I explained now. Okay. In tomorrow's session, I will explain file system hierarchy. Means what are the default directories we have in Linux? What are the default directories we have in Linux? See, once we install operating system, take example Windows only. A and B are reserved for floppy. It starts creating the drives from C, right? So once you open C drive, there you can see some default folders. Similarly, in Linux also, after installing the operating system, there are default directories. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. Only name is different. Purpose is same. Function is same. So what are the default directories are there in Linux? What is the function of each directory? That I'll explain in tomorrow's session. And this is important for administrators. You should know. As an admin, you should know. which directory is used for which purpose, that I'll explain in tomorrow's session. Okay, so this is about today's session. Features of Linux we discussed. Hope you're clear in my points. If you're not clear, you can ask me. See, while explaining something, if you're getting doubt also, just message me on the chat box. I will read and I'll respond. Okay. Make sure that you're clear in all the concept. As I told you, you'll also get the Telegram group. So there also you can message me if you have any doubts. So, and this notes, the features of Linux notes, I will share in once you registered with the course. I will share the notes on Telegram. You'll get a group link. So there I will share the notes so everyone can access at a time. So this is about today's session. Thank you for this session. So we'll meet tomorrow. And now if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you so much for the session.